You don't need Trump to make your Social Security tax-free. Just working this couple of days. I got to do this in portrait mode when I'm walking. This is the third time I've done this video in landscape mode. And when you're doing it in landscape mode, I tend to push a button which stops the video. I'm not sure how I do that or why, but it's a kind of hassle. So sorry, throw arrows at me for daring to put this in portrait mode. Anyways, I'm talking to this couple up in North Carolina, mid to late 60s, legends. They got about 300,000 in their portfolio. That's it. They're apologetically saying, we don't have that much saved. I said, I hear this all the time. Hardly any debt, a little bit of a mortgage, not much. It's only at 2.5%. They got lots of equity in their home, but they're not even going to need to tap into their equity. They didn't make much money in the last 10 years, the first time they really started making any kind of money, over 6 figures between them. They're just a typical household in America, raise a family. He's a blue collar guy. She works at admin job, and they're just trucking along, just like a typical American family, raise a couple kids, the whole point. Anyway, so they're thinking, man, can we retire? So I crunched the numbers for them. What you always want to do, is this is why I like using the software, and I like having my clients put the numbers in the software as opposed to me. Because I like the clients to commit to something. How much do you need? You need $70,000 a year, $80,000 a year. Okay. Is that going to make you live like a pauper, or is that living pretty good? Well, that's what we talk about. So in this case, they had like $60,000 a year, all inclusive, by the way. It's $5,000 a month. That's for Medicare. Their mortgage is pretty cheap. Only got a 2.5% rate. And we're crunching the numbers on their $300,000 portfolio. And I'm like, dude, 100% probability of success. And you're going to leave the kids a boatload of money too. Why? I showed them. Because Social Security covers all their expenses. They pay no income tax. Social Security is there, growing at a 2.4% clip. Are your expenses growing at a 2.4% clip? I don't know, maybe. Actually, I got expenses growing at about 3.5% clip. What will happen in reality? I don't know. But I said, that's too low, man. Expenditures. Let's have you spending more money. So we bumped it up from 60 to 75 to 90 to 95. 95 was a little bit too high in terms of probability of success. 85 to 90 was right there, right where we need to be, with 93% probability of success. I'm showing the tax code. Of their $90,000 a year they get from, they're going to spend, basically $70,000 comes from Social Security, give or take. Maybe it's 85,000. I think it was 85,000. Maybe 90. Anyway, either way. So only 15 to 20,000 is coming from their retirement accounts. Which means what? They're hardly paying any taxes at all, if anything. Hardly at all. How'd they get that much Social Security? I think his was $3,000 a month at his full retirement age. I think hers was $2,500 a month at her full retirement age. They're both going to wait till they're 70 to take it. So I think I can't remember exactly. I think when they're 70, it's going to be like 70,000 a year or something like that. I can't remember. I just don't recall. So they're spending $85,000 a year. Social Security is giving them $70,000 of that. $15,000 is coming from their portfolio. That's a 5% distribution amount on a $300,000 portfolio. You can do that in the sleep. Again, they're very apologetic. We don't have enough saved. It's like, dude, you guys are doing fine. You're doing just fine. Which is why, if you play it right, you don't need Trump to sign a bill about no tax on Social Security. You just got to know how to play it. That's what my job is, to show you how to maneuver around this so you can reduce tax on Social Security without needing President Trump to sign a bill. Anyway, so I found it funny because I'm like, dude, you're going to be fine. They're like, what? Really? I said, yeah, absolutely. You don't need to tap. You don't need to pay off your mortgage. You don't need to tap in the equity. We have no pension. Just a regular middle-class American couple. And I guarantee many of you guys are just like them. $300,000 a portfolio, if even that. If even that. You know, a couple $100,000 equity in your home. You're relying on Social Security. And again, it goes back to the idea 70 million of your American citizens are also relying on Social Security. You really think that's going to get cut? Nah. No income tax. Healthcare is part of that. And, you know, are they going to be able to fly first class to Greece? Yeah, probably. Depending on how the portfolio works. Are they going to do that daily? No. Do they want to do that daily? No. Just ordinary, regular American people. You know, enough money to go see a minor league baseball game. Enough money to dote on their grandkids. Enough money to eat, go out to dinner, get a hamburger every now and again. You don't need much, dude. Allow Social Security to run its magic, and you're going to be good to go. All right, God bless. Love your thoughts.